All right, it's hard for me not to talk about this because this girl named Haliey, or everyone knows her as Tuah girl, I think it's like something that I was thinking about the other night of if I was her, how would I take advantage of this moment? So I just wanted to talk about a situation where you have massive virality, especially something like this that goes just nuclear on the internet. And then how do you take advantage of that moment? So I just kind of wanted to break this down, but just from what you guys have seen, this moment obviously went super viral. She did this in Nashville. I think it was on Broadway. And then we didn't really hear from her for a couple days, maybe even a week. And everyone was trying to find out who she was. And then she appeared on social media. She launched her Instagram, and then she went on Plan Brie. I believe she also, she was on stage with Luke Bryan. I remember seeing those TikToks. And so there's a few things that she actually did, I think, to finally like come out and tell people who she is.
Shaq.
I saw the Shaq stuff.
Shaq took a picture with her, actually.
Can you imagine the amount of celebrities and people trying to like film podcasts with her, trying to like get time with her?
Yeah.
I mean, she went incredibly nuclear viral. I mean, this was like one of the probably biggest moments, not only of this year, but probably in the last like 3 years.
Definitely this year.
I mean, she gained 1 million subscribers on Instagram as soon as she dropped.
Pretty much overnight.
Yeah, as soon as she dropped it. I saw something about signing with a talent management company.
Yep.
So it feels like she's taking all the right precautions and all the right steps to be able to take advantage of this like viral moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just saw the other day that she got paid $30,000 to do some type of appearance. And so now she's starting to make money. She quit her job. I can't remember what she did. I just don't recall.
Rumors were school teacher. It's like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors. People didn't know. I think that was the problem is she wasn't on the internet yet.
Yeah.
She was basically a nobody that had this clip, and everyone was trying to search her out. And then a bunch of false information was hitting the internet, and people were just saying nonsense. And so I think it was good for her to like finally come out and just like correct all the false information. And I haven't bought a hat yet. I don't know if they sold well, but she sold merchandise. I saw that as well. So just kind of wanted to go through like what happens. Okay, viral moment. Chocolate Rain comes out. People don't even remember what Chocolate Rain was.
I love chocolate. You need to get Chocolate Rain on the podcast.
That might be a tough one. It's been like 15 years. We need to do a pod where we go through like all the biggest viral moments of the year. And I bet like as we look back on some of the viral moments, we'll be like, oh my God, that was huge. So huge. Where is that person right now? Do you think that
viral moments were bigger back in that time than they are now?
No. They gain much more traction now.
Yeah, you think so?
I mean, the TikTok has the ability to send someone to like way more people. Like Chocolate Rain, I think was very viral in like the small internet community.
Sure. Threads.
This went like
boards,
dumb viral throughout all of pop culture.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So I think with TikTok and all the social platforms that exist, and with how many more people are on these social platforms than there was 15 years ago, I think it hits everyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's a question. Name a viral sensation that happened a while ago and they're still popular today.
Oh, well, I Like Turtles kid turned like 20 or something, but like they did a cool thing about that. But you're kind of right. It's like,
can you take advantage of the moment?
It was because
for how long?
Yeah, and back then there was no like true career out of that, right? It was like it was your moment, and then like nowadays you realize that you can do exactly what you're gonna say, and you have something from it. But back then it was just like that was it, kind of. Maybe that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I tried to think about I'm struggling. I tried to think about that before the podcast. Was like a viral sensation that still has a big career, or a viral sensation that wasn't the peak of their fame, which is like it's going to be very hard for her to replicate.
Yeah,
like it's almost like, is this a giant bell curve?
Yeah,
the 2 days after she said that is like maybe the most popular she'll ever be.
Yeah,
and then it kind of goes downhill from here. But I think there is opportunities to like stabilize your fame, and so just a few things that I wanted to talk through.
Going back and thinking about Mark Rebule had the moment where he's in the iPhone line, and I feel like that went really big, and then nobody heard about him for a little bit, and then he starts making music. That's the only thing I can think of, though.
Walmart Yodel kid.
Oh yeah,
Mason Ramsey.
Oh yeah,
who was just in our office.
Yeah, making
a couple days ago.
Yeah,
that like who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, he's now selling I think 1,500, 2,000 tickes.
Really
a location. So there it can happen, but I think my advice to someone in this situation is I think first, like, yes, you have to find a team of people that I think can support you. But I think this is like an area where you have to be very careful to like not go get too many people too quickly.
Mhm.
I think most talent have the opportunity to take their time to like meet agents, meet managers, meet lawyers. Like they have like weeks, if not months, to like make a decision on someone. She literally signed with a management company 2 days later.
Yeah.
It's like really hard to get to know someone if you like want to work with them over a long period of time in 24 hours. So I think that's like something to think about, but that's not really like where I wanted to go with this. The first one was one thing that I think she should really think about, or I would tell her to think about, is you want to do something that's sustainable and that she actually enjoys. The hard part about her situation is she wasn't creating content before this happened. I think like another viral moment I was thinking about is like, okay, Boomer Girl.
Sure.
So I was like, that video goes completely nuclear on Twitter. Okay, Boomer Girl, the dance, whatever it was, 12 million views in one day. Her name is Nico Lal.
Yep.
She was also a Twitch streamer at that time. And so she had already been creating content for years. And so she was able to kind of like take advantage of that moment into what she was already doing, which was streaming on Twitch. That doesn't really exist in this situation. Same with like, the Yodel situation and, some of the other ones, the Chocolate Rain, they already had that creative outlet and were making videos.
Yeah,
they just had a spark, which was a viral moment. For her, she's coming into this not having created anything. So she doesn't really know what she wants to do, what she likes.
Yeah.
She hasn't been a creator. She hasn't been making anything. And so I think this is a little bit of a dangerous area, is like, where do you focus your energy? Because there's a lot of places that you could go with this. She should do something that's like somewhat sustainable that she enjoys. Mm-hmm. Podcasting to me is probably like the best form for that, if she enjoys doing that and like speaking for 60 minutes or whatever that is on a podcast, and she can be entertaining over a sustained period of time. Making YouTube videos is very difficult. It requires a certain type of skill, and you have to title and thumbnail and all things you know very well about. It's live streaming, also very difficult. So acting, very, very difficult. So there's really hard areas, I think, for her to capture, but it ultimately comes down to what does she want to do. Yeah. And I just don't know if in this moment. You've never tried these things. And so that's like one thing that I think I would challenge her to think a lot about.
You mentioned podcasts too, and I feel like that makes a lot of sense for her, especially because like what's one thing that like most people can do is like they can talk about themselves, right? And a lot of people, they just want answers, right? There's so much crap on the internet that it's just like, oh, she's a teacher, she's fired from her job, all this stuff. Like I feel like a podcast is a great way to just talk about yourself, and just that's what people want to know. It's like nothing about this person other than at this point like her name now, Haliey, right? So it's like all these things that we want to know is just talking on a podcast.
Yeah, and that leads me to the next one, which is I think she should be doing a lot more podcasts right now, going on people's podcasts, doing interviews. She's very entertaining. I watched most of the Plan Brie episode. It made for a lot of clipping on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I think like she needs to be seen right now.
Yeah.
The last thing that she wants is there to be like weeks where people don't see her and then they just forget. The internet moves very, very fast and it doesn't stop ever. It's moving 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And so for her, I think going on the big podcast, and now is the moment where she can get on all of them.
Yeah.
Whether it's like maybe not Joe Rogan, but who knows, but like Call Her Daddy for sure. Like she should go on that if that opportunity's there. Jay Shetty, like I think there's a lot of podcasts that she should be going on, and it will provide way more clips on the internet, and people are going to continue to see her, and that could lead into what her content career is.
I have some questions on that. So you mentioned like DMs before, like she probably has a shit ton of them right now. Like what do you think is your first step, or like are you sorting them into like, hey, these are opportunities, or like by area, by like, are you trying to do as many as possible? Like what would you do here?
That almost kind of comes down to a professional or her management helping her, I think, realize what DMs are that she should respond to, what DMs could lead to an opportunity. I actually don't think she should waste her time answering hundreds and thousands of DMs.
Sure.
I think that she should honestly like let her manager maybe understand what the best opportunities are and kind of handle that, because it can be pretty overwhelming. But I can imagine that most podcasts are trying to get her on.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
what I was
like
thinking.
she's a lightning rod.
Yeah.
It's a very viral moment. So, and then the last one too, I think that's really important is like I can't remember what the town was called, but she grew up in a town outside of Nashville, or that's where she lived. I think it was 30 miles outside of Nashville. I don't see any reason for her to move to Los Angeles. I think most people in this moment would quit their job, pack up their car, move to LA in hopes for, fame, more fame. I think the problem with that in this city is there's a lot of temptation here. There's a lot of distractions here. There's a lot of people that will just eat you alive and spit you out. And I do think like her staying in Nashville, being true to herself, she's like a country girl, a Southern girl. I think being true to herself and staying in Nashville and developing out like what her content is very important. So I would say like, don't rush and move to LA. Maybe come out here for a week, do some podcasts, see if you like it. Don't rush into that situation. Keep your family and your friends around you. Yeah. That's like, I think another thing too, is they'll keep you grounded. They knew you before your fame. You don't want to surround yourself with a bunch of people that are now in your life because of this viral moment. And so I think that one's like, that's really important. And I hope her team is telling her that. And I hope I don't see her move to LA. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably the last one that just stuck out in my mind. So yeah, next time you go viral, hopefully these help. Yeah. And thanks for coming to this episode. I hope to see Hot to a Girl on more podcasts. I want to see it get clipped. I don't know what's going on and why she's not on more podcasts. Yeah. But
maybe she'll subscribe to the newsletter.
Maybe she will. And she'll see this and be like, I need to go on more fucking podcasts. But thank you guys. All right. Oh, and subscribe to Nightlight because Kevin made me say that.
I did.